Joining me now from Morristown, New Jersey, the tactical rabbi, Rabbi Raziel Cohen. Rabbi, I seem to remember my history. I seem to remember Nazi Germany attacking elements of culture and religion. I seem to remember Stalin attacking elements of culture and religion. And I seem to remember more recently the Islamic State in Syria attacking elements of culture and religion. This is a huge, huge problem in our country that needs to be addressed. I want to hear what you think, but I think by education more than anything else.
So it's actually a very interesting thing that you bring up, because there are a lot of different ways that this is able to be looked at. What baffles me completely is the monuments that they're trying to tear down makes no sense. For example, defacing and damaging Abraham Lincoln, the person who established the Emancipation Proclamation, the person who gave and said that this in America, every single person has the right to freedom, has the right to do whatever they need to do. We have the First Amendment, we have the Second Amendment, later coming to the 13th Amendment. Defacing that shows perfectly well that this is not actually about having freedom and doing what we want to do to make things right. It's more about just anarchy, complete and utter anarchy.
And when we look at the anarchy in the streets, there was an element of it that was either misreported or just simply not reported by the mainstream media. And I'm thinking in particular Los Angeles. There were anti-Semitic slurs spray painted in various neighborhoods of Los Angeles during the rioting. I hope it's all been cleaned up by now, but the bottom line is these anti-Semitic attacks did take place, and people need to know about this, that these members of Antifa and Black Lives Matter and whoever were rioting in the streets made these moves against Jews.
You're 100% correct. So a lot of these things were not reported, but unfortunately what it also comes down to is that we are also very unfortunately used to this. Anti-Semitism has been around for a long time. Our entire history is based on that, and it's a huge portion of what we have to live with. And these are things that it seems like the mainstream media doesn't want to report anymore, simply because it doesn't seem to be interesting anymore. It's so common, it's so normal that they're thinking, why not talk about something else, something that's more interesting?
You are the tactical rabbi, we call you that, because you try and harden a lot of synagogues against any kind of attack. And you've come up with a preparedness, a riot preparedness checklist, if you will. I've got a few of them on here. Prepare a to-go bag, avoid highways. I think that's an important one. A lot of people don't even think about, right? But look at all the video we've seen of the mayhem on highways. You say to also pack some pepper spray. And if you don't have a firearm, you better thinking about getting a firearm. And it's unfortunate, Rabbi, that we even have to talk about all of this. But heck, we still have a Second Amendment. And by God, we better live by it. Otherwise, we're going to die without it.
Absolutely. So what people are not understanding is how much the firearm surge has been going on, to the point that people have been calling me, asking me what the process is in order to obtain a firearm right now, when most of the United States seems to be out. And one of the best lines I've heard so far is people asking me about the gun show loophole, the way that they could illegally obtain a firearm, a way to get around the law to be able to obtain a firearm, because now they realize in the time that they might need it the most, they're not able to get it. In the past few months alone, we've had a surge of close to, I think it was over 15 million background checks done, showing that people are taking this very seriously and are very interested in purchasing.
And if anybody thinks you're hypocritical, as an ordained rabbi, it is your job, your number one job, to protect human life, correct?
Correct. It says in the Bible that we're not able to stand by. We have the obligation to protect ourselves, to protect our families, to protect our communities. And one of the most mistaught laws in the entire Bible, one of the commandments says, "Thou shalt not kill." It's not "Thou shalt not kill." It's "Thou shalt not murder." If we have a need to protect ourselves, to defend ourselves, to defend our families and our communities, you better believe we will do whatever it takes to make sure to do that properly.
And when you talk about hardening your congregations at synagogues, the best defense is number one, a good offense, but it's also training the congregants, right? The people who go into a synagogue or go into a church.
So there's a line that we kind of use in the gun world, that there's a difference between a guy with a gun and a team of guys with guns. So having people like in the church in Texas, where they were encountering the active shooter and they worked together to secure a perimeter and properly engage the target and use it in a safe manner. That's a big thing that people don't understand. And the biggest issue we have right now is that there are so many millions of people who just purchased a firearm, but because of COVID, because guns and firearm ranges and gun stores are not considered to be essential businesses, we have a huge amount of new firearms owners that got a gun for the first time, but now they're not able to get training. They're not able to do things properly. They're not able to get themselves in the mindset to understand the importance of doing things properly and safely, which is obviously the number one priority.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.